Hello and welcome to Love at Lunch, my lovelies. Oh, today we get to talk about one of my very favorite things. And last week I did a poll and some people came back and said, I hate what Leona's about to tell us that is so good for us, and that is journaling. We're going to talk about why journaling is so helpful for us and why I'm passionate about it and why it's really relevant to me today. So, here's the dealio. First of all, we need to understand how our brains work. Our brains are constantly trying to make sense of what is happening to us. And it's really hard for our brain to figure it out in this jumbled, delicious mess of a brain. And when we take something outside of ourselves by either talking it through with somebody or writing it out, because today, my friends, we are talking about all joy of journaling, then we can make sense of it. And we are sense-making beings. So journaling helps us get what is already up in our brains, helps it get it out on a piece of paper, and allows our brains to feel less stress because it can see and create greater understanding. So whether or not you love journaling is up to you. But just know that it's extremely beneficial. It has been studied for a long time, but since the 80s, one of the key researchers, his last name is Pennebaker, and he has noticed that people sleep better, their blood pressure decreases, their immune system is more effective, and they decrease anxiety, depression, and their feelings of stress are reduced. So journaling, I mean, it's like a jog around the block. That's how good exercise is for those things as well, except no sweating, and all you need is a pen and paper. We've been doing this well since we were 5. So if you are curious and you think, I'd love to get into journaling, number one, I would love for you to get into journaling. So I am releasing a book called Finding Your Joy Spot, Creating More Joy in Everyday Spaces in Your Life, and helping you to recognize joy. And I call it coaching in a can. I'm a coach, and a lot of the things that we do is we ask good questions so people can have a greater understanding of what's important to people. So whether or not you love journaling, you can still read through the book and maybe just take some of the questions that are at the end of every chapter and ask yourself those questions in order to create greater understanding and do all those well-being increasing things in your life. But it's meant for people to take a topic, I ask you some questions, and you get to reflect. So this is a wonderful opportunity to explore journaling. If you want to get started before July when the book comes out, you could consider journaling. Pennebaker suggests that for 3 or 4 days, you journal for 15 minutes at a time, uninterrupted, and see what happens. For a lot of that might feel like a 15-minute jog, which when I started running, 15 minutes was about 13 minutes outside of my capacity. So you could think about writing down one thing you're grateful for. And again, what it does when we write down what we're grateful for is we're not sorting anything out. It's reminding the brain to savor that experience. And the brain thinks it's having the experience again. So it's like, dang, this is good. So you get all the good feels all over again, helps your brain, does all the good things for you. I have a friend and she does 3 things a day and she reflects on them with a friend, but I love what she suggested and I just asked for her permission. So they reflect every day on what are they grateful for, what did they learn, and what was the miracle. And if miracles, you don't think that they happen to you, you are breathing right now, my blessed friend. And I think that's a miracle. However, you could just think, what was my joy spot today? So was there something that was remarkable that just like jumped out at me and made me feel joy? Clearly, I love that. So you could start with that. And you don't have to do it at night. You could do that the next morning. It's really great. Helps your brain feel better. You feel better. And reinforces such goodness. The learning is a really wonderful component of that because it helps us to create meaning. We are learning and integrating machines. So we love, love, love that idea. Something else that you can consider doing, I wrote a few notes, is you could write about what's stressful right now. Is something causing anxiety? And by writing about that, it helps your brain understand more about what's going on. How do you feel about that? So you recognize the emotion. When we do that, it drops the emotional charge of that, what could be perceived as a challenging emotion by 25%. Write about what's the hardest part, gets our brain to go to the dirty, gritty part, but then it allows it to feel some relief. And then ask yourself 2 questions. What is it I want? What is it I need? And follow up on those things. And you will feel your stress be relieved. So, my beloved friends, I do hope that you consider being part of the pre-release for Finding a Joy Spot. You get the first 2 chapters and an opportunity to start journaling immediately because they got some questions. A lot of them are yummy about what makes you feel joy, and really starting to be more aware of joy. That's how we start to find more joy spots. And so if you sign up, I'll attach the link below and you'll get the first 2 chapters and you can start journaling today. Think of what joy that will bring. And thank you so much for joining me. I see some people that have sparked a lot of joy for me in my life, and I am very grateful that you are here. And so my wish for you is that you will find joy in unexpected places, that joy spots will just come out and greet you and give you a big full-on smooch on the lips, and that you might experience just a deep sense of meaning and purpose and all the good things that you ache for. So, my beloveds, all the love for you, and may you start to make sense of what's going on and savor those good parts of your life with some journaling. Tell me if you're willing to experiment and what that brings for you. Can't wait.